The dim glow of late-night television in the 1990s held a peculiar charm for insomniacs, night owls, and anyone else who happened to find themselves awake in the early hours. Amid the barrage of infomercials, one man seemed to stand out: Don Lapre. With an infectious energy and grandiose promises, Don captivated audiences with his bold claims of how they could achieve wealth beyond their wildest dreams. His face became a fixture of late-night programming, always promising a path to riches that seemed just out of reach. But behind the smile and the slick presentations was a story far more complicated, a story that ended in tragedy. Don Lapre wasn't always in the business of late-night television. In fact, his early years were marked by a series of failed ventures. Desperate to escape the confines of mediocrity, he embarked on a relentless quest for wealth. His journey began with a dating service, a business that never took off. Within 2 months, Don was forced to file for bankruptcy, a humbling blow that might have deterred a less determined man. But not Don. Failure only seemed to fuel his ambition. Undeterred, Don launched a new venture, a credit repair company. It was here that Don's moral compass began to waver. Instead of genuinely helping people improve their credit, he devised a scheme that involved selling them information on how to apply for new high-limit credit cards. It was a temporary fix at best and a dangerous trap at worst. His clients were furious, realizing too late that Don's solution could plunge them deeper into debt rather than rescue them from it. The scam caught the attention of the authorities, and soon the state sued him. A judge ordered Don to pay back his victims, and his credit repair business collapsed under the weight of its fraudulent foundation. But Don was not one to back down. Where others saw failure, he saw opportunity. If one scheme didn't work, he would simply move on to the next. Soon he was dabbling in another dubious enterprise, selling 1-900 numbers for psychic hotlines and other dubious services. This time he discovered a valuable lesson. Advertising was the key to success. With bold newspaper ads, he started drawing in customers, and before long the money began to flow. Allegedly, he was pulling in over $50,000 a week, a staggering sum for someone who had been bankrupt just a short while before. Don had found his niche. Yet, as is often the case with those who chase wealth relentlessly, enough was never truly enough. Don's appetite for success only grew, and he soon ventured into the world of late-night infomercials, where he would ultimately make his mark. In these broadcasts, Don wasn't just a businessman, he was the star. He began by selling those same 1-900 numbers, presenting them as a way for ordinary people to make extraordinary amounts of money. But his ambitions didn't stop there. Soon, he was branching out into selling a wide array of products, including dubious advice on how to get rich quick. It was here that Don truly hit his stride. His infomercials ran every night, and his schemes began to reach a massive audience. Hundreds of thousands of people bought into his get-rich-quick programs, and at the height of his success, Don Lapre was worth an alleged $40 million. He became a household name, even drawing the attention of Saturday Night Live, where a young David Spade famously parodied him. For a while, it seemed like Don had achieved everything he had ever dreamed of. He had the money, the fame, and a thriving business empire. But success is a fickle thing, and Don's fortune didn't last. Over time, the public began to grow weary of his schemes. What had once been a lucrative business began to falter. His company started losing significant amounts of money, at one point, reportedly $500,000 a week. Real estate deals turned sour, back taxes piled up, and the empire that had once seemed unstoppable began to crumble. In front of his employees, Don was forced to deliver the crushing news. His businesses had gone bankrupt. The man who had once promised riches beyond imagination had lost everything. But if there was one thing Don had learned in his tumultuous career, it was how to bounce back. Not long after his public failure, he partnered with another controversial figure, Doug Grant. Together, they launched their most ambitious scheme yet, selling vitamins. They branded their product, the greatest vitamin in the world, a bold name for what was essentially a standard multivitamin. But Don knew how to sell, and that's exactly what he did. Once again, he appeared in late-night infomercials, pushing the vitamins with grandiose claims, suggesting they could cure everything from diabetes to heart disease. None of these claims were true, of course. But Don wasn't just selling vitamins. He was selling a dream. Their business model was as much a pyramid scheme as it was a supplement company. They recruited over 220,000 people to resell the vitamins, promising them huge commissions and the opportunity to run their own businesses. It was a classic multi-level marketing strategy, and for a time, it worked. The company reportedly brought in over $52 million, a staggering success by any measure. But the law was catching up to Don. The FDA took notice of the false health claims surrounding the vitamins and issued several warnings. Still, Don and Doug persisted, continuing to run their infomercials and rake in money. However, the pyramid began to collapse. As customer complaints piled up and the authorities closed in, their websites were taken down and the company dissolved. The downfall of Don Lapre was swift and severe. Doug Grant, his business partner, was imprisoned for the mysterious death of his wife, further tarnishing the reputation of their enterprise. Investigations into Don's business practices revealed years of fraud, and he faced 41 counts of fraud related to the vitamin scheme. He was staring down the possibility of 25 years in prison, a sentence that would effectively end his life as he knew it. As his trial approached, Don's world unraveled. The man who had once sold hope and prosperity to millions was now confronted with the harsh reality of his actions. Unable to face the consequences, he went on the run, disappearing just days before he was set to appear in court. It was a desperate, last-ditch effort to avoid the inevitable, but it didn't last long. He was found the next day hiding in a local gym and was promptly arrested. In jail, awaiting his trial, Don's facade finally cracked. On the morning of July 1, 2011, 2 days before his trial was set to begin, Don Lapre took his own life. Armed with a razor blade, he ended the story of a man who had spent years chasing wealth at any cost. Don Lapre's life was a cautionary tale of ambition unchecked by morality. His relentless pursuit of riches ultimately led him down a path of deception and fraud, leaving a trail of broken promises and shattered dreams in his wake. For many who had watched him on late-night TV, Don was the embodiment of the American dream gone wrong, a man who believed in success so fiercely that he was willing to sacrifice everything, including himself, to achieve it.